Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to our AI Study Jam workshop series, proudly organized by Google Developer Clubs at MMU. So we are thrilled to have all of you here to join our second day of AI Study Jam. So everyone, please take a moment to settle in, and also you guys can say hi and drop your names in the chat so we can engage with each other. Right. So before we move forward, I would like to go over a few housekeeping rules. So first of all, please stay muted if you're not speaking. And if you have any questions, you can always drop them in the chat. So let's move on with the first session of today, which is the icebreaker. So the committee will be presenting a code. Please scan the code and answer the questions inside. So do you guys see it? Mm. Amar can present the slide though and the link, please. Okay. So while we wait for the slide, can everyone say hi? Introduce yourself or something? Oh, yes. I forgot to introduce her. I'm Madhusha. You can call me Masha. Hey, hello. Here's the Slido link. Okay. Yep. So the Slido is up. And the question we have for you today is, what's the one thing you wish schools taught about AI and jobs? So, what thing do you wish they taught you at school about AI and job before this? So just drop in whatever you think about this question. Let's go, guys. You can either scan the QR code or use the link in the chat. How they work. Okay, so how AI works and the jobs related to AI. All right. What else? What else? How to implement AI. Okay. What about others? What do you guys think? How can we use AI for assignments or class activities? Yep, that is very relatable, especially in uni, right? Is AI going to replace most of the jobs in future? Interesting question. Could definitely ask our speaker later. Productive. Okay, interesting. How to use AI to earn money. That's a good one. Now the AI is very popular. That would be a really good way to earn money as well. How they work. Business. True. Is AI going to weaken our coding skills? Ooh, good one. Definitely a good one. How far AI gonna improve over time? True. There's a lot of AI models out there improving as well. Is AI bad for the environment? That as well. Daily skills, computer science skills. Okay, so it's mostly about skills and how it works and what it has for the future, right? Okay. So is there a second question? Can we move on to the second question if there's any? All right, so most of you have a lot of really good questions that could also be asked later to the speaker, especially about the future of jobs when it comes to AI and how they can help with the skills we already have, right? Is there more? Okay, so with all the other factors that I have mentioned there, which factor do you think influences AI the most? ROI, trust, compliance and safety, or ease of integration? You can just choose whichever you think suits the most. Okay, ROI leads for now. Let's see more people voting this poll. Okay, trust and explainability, ease of integration, compliance and safety. Okay, the ROI is still leading so far. So you guys do think that return of investment is very important in AI. All right. So thank you everyone for hopping in and answering all the questions. The last one would be, which industry do you think will benefit most from AI in the next 5 years? So we have five industries: healthcare, finance, education, manufacturing, or creative industries. Which one do you think will be the most beneficial one? Okay. Ooh, manufacturing. Interesting. Healthcare is also not too behind. Wow. Okay. 46% of you guys think it's manufacturing. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for hopping in and answering all those questions. So, this will be the end of our today for our icebreaker. So, let's move on to the main agenda of today, the AI study jam itself. So, it's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Faris Hasan, a passionate data scientist with a strong track record in machine learning and data analytics. With extensive experience in building high performing teams and delivering innovative solutions to complex business challenges, Mr. Faris is dedicated to driving excellence in technical data science and infrastructure. Mr. Faris is also deeply engaged in the field of semantic search and has been exploring the frontiers of AI, particularly through the RAG system. So today, Mr. Faris will be speaking on from code to impact, what the industry really cares about. So this is the topic he'll be sharing about today. So without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Faris himself.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Those are very interesting questions, and I'm surprised about some of uh, I think, the responses, somewhat going in the right direction. I think it starts becoming obvious. So that's very good. I think for me, what I wish when I was in MMU 10 years ago, we have sessions like this. Okay. Well, I know I have prepared something to share with you, but this is less formal. It's more informal, actually, and I want to share what I have seen in the last 9 years of from basically starting until today. Uh, I will share personal stories and projects and stuff like that, kind of like have a in-depth insight. But also, you have to recognize that it takes more than one life for someone to understand everything that's going to happen in the world, right? So I'm an MMU alumni. By this time, uh, I think you should have already known that. I graduated from MMU Malacca in 2017. I was majored in AI. Back then, it wasn't cool. Nobody studies that except like my batch was 8 students. So really, nobody wants to study that. It was the only IT major that has mathematics, and nobody loved mathematics. I don't know what is the situation now, but I guess more people want to study it. And I started my career as a data analyst in 2017. Maybe someone will ask, oh, how? Why? Well, 2017 Malaysia, there is nothing called data scientist yet. Data scientist is like very rare job. It requires you to have PhD. And for someone who wants to be a data scientist, what is the cheat code here? Well, starting anywhere related to data. And that was for me data analysis, basically. And later on, I joined Fave as a data scientist and built some cool things in Fave and enjoyed the time there. Worked in Qasim after that. Founded a small company called UsePod. It's a micro-saving fintech solution. I left that and went to Qasim when it was only one person in data science, and it was me, and left it when it was like 45. That was like the biggest data team I've seen in my life. Uh, Too many people, but too much data as well. And later on, in 2014, I started working with Dürr as the lead AI there. And yeah, I've been exploring in the AI space for quite some time. Some of the things actually uh, were funny because they came like full circle, like RAG systems and generative AI. Uh, I started with those in 2019. My manager asked me, Faris, can you build something that when the business ask a question, they will use English, but that AI will convert it into SQL. And we take this SQL script and we run it in the database. I have no freaking idea how to build something like that, but I thought like, holy crap, this is cool. Today it's like everyone is doing that. It's not anymore is like a futuristic problem. It's an okay problem to do. It's for me it even not interesting today compared with the things that are possible with strong AI models from Claude and OpenAI, etc. Fun story. I think in 9 years ago in 2016 in MMU, I was thinking about my FYP, final year project. And I don't know if it's still the case, but usually for us, it was like for FYP, you have two choices. Either you build an application or you do a research, like you publish a research paper or do research or something like that. By the way, guys, let me know if you can't hear me clearly. I'm using my mic because I bought it and I don't use it often, so I'll take a chance to use it today. So I was like, I want to do research. Now, nobody said that ever. Everyone hates research. Everyone's like, oh, it's simple. Let me just build web application or phone application. But for me, for some reason, I have curiosity about research. And in the quest of looking for a research topic, which nobody has helped me in, kind of everyone is, even the lecturers are like, uh, why is this guy want to do research? He doesn't know so much and it will be really tiring. Because when you do research, there's the hard way and the easy way. All research is hard, but it gets easy if you work with a lecturer in their research topic and you do your FYP about something on them. It makes your life a lot easier. The lecturer will most probably wants you, but if they like you, they will get you on their team. And the second thing is like you might get paid, small allowance or something, but it's easy. But if you come to a lecturer and you say, I want to do my FYP as a research project and I will come up with the research topic, everybody think you are crazy. And rightfully so. You are really banana to think you can do that. It took me a very long time, but at the end, I did it in diagnostics with X-ray. It was tuberculosis, TB, the disease. So tuberculosis detection from X-ray. And I published a research paper. I thought like, FYP finished. I got A, everything is fine. I just, I never expected that 9 years later, I will end up working in a company leading an AI team, building AI algorithms or products or whatever you want to call it, and all of them around X-ray, because the company I work for produces X-ray machines. And like I said, like kind of sometimes it's weird how life comes full circle in the least expected ways. There is a clear distinction between life in academia versus life in the industry. And I want to share with you this thing firsthand. So academia is a controlled environment. When I say that controlled environment, I mean you really have too little of what the real world is. You usually have basically fixed questions or fixed topics. Even the subject that you study, it has one clear syllabus. In the industry, the world is messy. There is no syllabus for anything. Literally, there is no syllabus for anything. You just learn the skills that help you get the job done. And that in itself is a skill that nobody is teaching you. You kind of have like, get familiar with it, get guidance or mentorship, and grow that intuition. In academia, you code for grades. You just like do this code and it's grades and that's it. In the industry, it's actually not your code that is important. Anybody can code. Today, ChatGPT can code. It's more about the impact and the value that code can generate. And because of this, coding goes to another level. Now there is testing for the code, there is compliance, regulation, company requirements for the code, stakeholders. There's a lot of people involved to approve that what you are shipping to them in terms of code is the thing they want. So with all these people involved, direction becomes very important because, you know, too many humans, maybe you have seen this game when you have like few students in a line, and they tell the first student something in his ear and they tell him pass it to the second person, and the message that the first student received is completely different from student received. Same in real life, that the manager might say something and then your team lead end up getting the wrong message somehow, lost in the middle, and you end up going in a different direction. Real challenges. And there is no syllabus again. Not creepy, interesting, but it takes time to get used to. So you kind of like need to see that, or like put this in the background of your head, that real life is like this. It's just messy. That's its nature. So for that, today I will share with you just 3 ideas, and I hope I don't take so much time. I hope so. Now it's 30 minutes gone already. But I will share with you just 3 big ideas. And I say big ideas because they are kind of like central ideas. Around them, there are smaller ideas, concepts, habits, etc. And I think you can see through them. So the first is think beyond code. In school, you solve the problems. In the industry, you find the problems to solve. So it's not really so much about the code, it's about the impact. And that impact, in order to be generated, there are few things has to be right. And the first thing is problem identification. And this doesn't mean you have to be a CEO to identify the real problem. Even for you as just a developer or as a student, you need to start basically train yourself to identify what is the problem, because people will communicate, will use different words, will use different things, but there has to be one core problem. And the better you are at identifying it, this muscle will grow with you. So understanding where it might be, for example, the real need, or not just the technical puzzle, like, oh, what is new? ChatGPT is new. Let me use ChatGPT because that's cool. Some problems, you don't need ChatGPT to solve them. You can solve them with far easier if-else statement, and that's it. So problem identification, very important. Not even just in code, even when working with teams, working even through your internship, through everything, there is always a problem, and try to look for it. What is that? And try work towards it. Fun story, for me, I was trying for the longest time to be a Dean List student, and mission failed, man. It was mission freaking impossible. I just can't crack that. Like, I can get 3.47, but I would never like switch to 3.5, or like, there isn't. So then I realized that studying is boring for me, but I want to get high grades. That's the problem that I identify. It's just studying is boring. I still want a high grade. What should I do? So I went to solve something about them. Uh, Basically, focusing more on assignments and try to score high. And that way, even if I get half the grade in the midterm, half the grade in the final, I'm still okay. Most probably I'll get B plus. And that was like the first time I think I was like able to really look at a problem and just work towards it. Before that, I think I was just trying to do everything and nothing worked. Second thing is value creation. So value creation here is very important because everything we do in code at the end boils down to this value, and try to understand it. In the beginning, when you are just a developer, it might not mean so much. But the more you spend in the tech industry, or even if you're not working like as a developer, you are working as a product manager, you are working as anything in the industry, understanding the value creation is very important because that's what basically secure you a good job. People recognize your ability to see through things because everything in life is just distractions. And if you can see through these distractions and know what is the impact of going through this way or that way, which one allows us to create value faster or more, then like that skill and that thing will help you so much. So second thing is value creation. It's beyond code. Maybe it's less code, but one code can generate more value and one might not generate more value even though it's like written in crazy algorithms and stuff. And the third point is strategic alignment. We don't care so much about alignment when we do assignments because usually there's like that Steve and Dave, maybe Steve alone doing the whole assignment, the rest are just like waiting for him to write the report, or Steve and Dave will put all night to do the assignment. So Steve and Dave just need to be aligned and everyone in the team is happy. Well, in the industry, that can be very disastrous. You need strategic alignment in multiple levels. One is you aligned with what the business needs. What are you working on? This project that you are building, what is in it? What is the high stake there? Why the company want to build it in this way or that way? Is the user want this system to be in a certain way? Or are the final customers going to be happy with certain solution being delivered in a certain way? So you understanding that and you start aligning it and on this multiple level, aligning product with users and what stakeholders wants, or aligning your vision, what you see with what the team sees, is very important. It allows you to basically push your efforts in the right direction, not spending your time in something that's not required. And at the end, if you are sometime, or usually humans are not just naturally aligned, it takes work to make people aligned. And believe me, there is a job for a person who his or her entire like daily routine is to ensure the team is aligned, discover misalignment, bring everyone together, and make sure that just the team moves in that direction. And it's not a coding job, but it is with people who code. So strategic alignment, very important, beyond code. Yeah. I don't know what is the situation here. You guys gonna write questions in Slido or how? I don't know, but feel free to write whatever the SOP is. So the second big idea, communication. Whenever we talk about communication, I think, or at least for me, it was a lot simpler. It was a lot more like, you communicate, you talk. And then I realized that communication is more than just words, especially when you are working on something more complex, it gets even bigger. And usually you remember that Steve who went to do the assignment alone? That guy, his problem is he think it's too much work to make the team understand what you're gonna build, what he gonna build even. So to him, it's like it's just easier for him just to code the entire thing and nobody has to be involved, rather than him going to explain, because explaining might not be a skill he has. Or maybe just because the rest of the team are happy for him to do it. But here comes few types of communication that I think are very relevant. First is simplifying complexity. Complexity here is not just because you use crazy mathematics. Sometimes it's not really even about the crazy mathematics. It's just like the entire topic itself is not suitable for the people you're trying to explain things to them. So if we are talking to stakeholders about AI, they wouldn't really care so much about how certain algorithm is doing or how it's working inside and stuff. Like, maybe he has too much to care about. Maybe we just tell him, hey, we will give this to AI and train this AI to predict, and the guy is happy. Just to him, he figured it out. To us, it's like, this is so stupid, so simple. But sometimes it's a skill to do this. It's a skill because it's not just about the simplification that goes. It's about how can you simplify something that's complex but important. So stakeholders, despite of how simple you explain it, they still can take decision. Translating these concepts, these technical concepts, for example, all of these are or this is all is basically a skill that you get with time. Not everyone is good at it. Some people are good at it. And that follows to the next part, using visuals. You can't just use words, because words, when some people hear it, sometimes it just lands differently. Everyone's different in what they imagine. Actually, we did exercise in my team, and we talked about few things, actually. And here's the funny thing, like, just imagine if we say, uh, think about a bus, and we ask everyone, hey, when we told you think about a bus, what did go through your mind? And I found that some people on my team, when I tell them think about a bus, they see like the word bus. Some of them, they see like, a bus, like a 2D drawn bus in a paper. And some people actually imagine a 3D bus with how many seats inside and the entire thing. So imagine we are using the same word, but everyone in their brain, something else happened. Some of them saw a picture, some of them saw a 3D representation, some of them saw nothing. It's not even a word. And that's why it's very important not just to use the words, but to aid it with some visuals. Usually, if you have taken, what subject is that? I don't know. Some subject basically uh, uh, gives you diagrams, how you do flow chart and stuff. And flow charts, I mean, like in the university, they make them too much. Like in real life, there are more ways in which you can use visuals. There are more free websites even to help you do that, and there are less rules, which allows you to actually, get creative about the diagrams you want to draw, how you want to draw them, how you want them to communicate the concept that you have in mind. And that is a skill. Some people will actually be able to connect and engage with the idea when they see diagrams, because here they see the relationship, the dependencies, they see what comes first, what comes second, what depends on what, how something relates to other thing. And that's the power of using basically visuals to aid what you're trying to deliver. And the last is telling stories. Telling stories, maybe we think of it like this is overrated, but usually people who tell stories, I mean, like, look at the people in LinkedIn who are very famous. They always just tell stories. Even sometimes the stories are just pure BS, but still they get so many likes and so on, right? And the thing is that we as human species, we connect with stories. They inspire us, and they relate, we relate to the story. And that's why, or telling a story is one of the ways that you can deliver ideas. You want to make them relatable, you use story. But these stories can use different ways of appeal. Maybe you appeal emotionally, maybe you appeal in a scientific approach, and maybe you appeal by using comparisons and analogies. In all, you are telling a story, and that's part of basically superpower communication. One time we have a problem in our system. We have a problem that our system is basically it received a medical image, and medical images are big. So when it receives the medical image, it would take some time until it uploads it. But the client already asking about a prediction from our system. And we were trying to tell the stakeholders the problem, and it's very technical. We call it a race condition. But one of the guys have this idea. He was like, you know what? We're just gonna tell them that the situation that happens, it's like when you go to MACD and you order, and the moment you get your order, you go to the next counter for pickup and you say, give me my order. The order needs time to be cooked. So by this comparison that the guy put, we were able to take something that's intrinsically technical, but communicated to people who are not really technical, and they understood what's going on. This is an example of how, like, telling a story really worked in a setting. I boycott MACD, but it's a good example. So the last thing is very important. Maybe so many people told you this, but I need to emphasize it. Uh, Often we hear this, that Rome is not built in a day. Well, that's Rome. We don't have Rome in Malaysia. We have Putrajaya. It took more than 10 years to build Putrajaya. So Putrajaya is not built in a day. And if you're working in tech, well, it takes time. You need to experiment, fail, repeat, change things until you get them right. It just doesn't work from first time. If it worked from the first time, like, it's a luck. It doesn't always the case. So with this, there is a flow that often happen. Hypothesize, like formulate an idea, test that assumption. So by testing, that means maybe you build a small prototype or something, get feedback, get ideas. How does it work? Is it actually practical? And if it doesn't work, it fails, take this feedback, learn, adapt, go again. Now with improved design, with improved basically capabilities, and basically the faster your idea fail, the better you are, because you are going to the next phase. You are going to build the next thing that's going to be better. And I think it's something that we often miss. We graduate and we think like, oh yeah, things will be good, things will be like this, but things take time. You need to take time because you will learn certain skills, you will acquire these skills. These skills you learned and you're happy about, maybe you go to work at some company and they were not helpful. Doesn't help you in this company. You have to learn other skills. Took you time, a couple of months maybe or a month to learn that these skills are not as good in this place. You need to step up, and you learn other skills. You get better. You learn, you iterate, building yourself, building your company, building your business, building your code, application, startup, whatever the hell that you want to go to build. It kind of go through a similar cycle. So always remember that. It's still, you will experiment, you will have a hypothesis, you might fail, you need to get feedback, adapt, and iterate again. So what you can do if you are like a student and you can like in the beginning, I think today there is so much that you can do. There is no limitation of sources online and offline that you can learn from. But most importantly, contribute to community projects. I think these will build your skills in a strong way. Even if your contribution is very simple, just do it. It will be very big because it will expose you to bigger things. And learn from diverse code bases. Look more at different people codes and try to understand it. It will help you because when you go to work, you work with a team. Every one of them learned Python differently. Some of them maybe didn't even study computer science, but they learned, they taught themselves how to code in Python, and somehow they work in tech. So different people, despite using the same programming language, they might write code differently. And you should expose yourself to all these different styles. Uh, the second thing, I think you should build and share. Create personal projects, share them with the world, document your work publicly, write about them. What did you build? What did you test? And through that, you will get basically to learn. Uh, Maybe some people will ask you to come and build with them in their fun projects or something like that. And all of that is part of the exposure you want to have. And if you want to focus on building businesses or using AI and stuff, I think the best way to look at it, don't think about using AI. Think about solving pain points. Then evaluate if this pain point will be solved with AI or will be solved with just code without AI. But here's the keyword: pain points. And there are so many exist today across our life, basically, from social to government to businesses. Everywhere there are so many things, basically, so many pain points that can be improved. And yeah, start small. Putrajaya is not built in a day. It will take time. It's a daily thing, and eventually you will see those things, or what you do accumulate. For me, until now, until today, I still try. I usually come to work early, so I spend the first hour or 40 minutes just working on studying something new or something maybe related to my work, and I can see how that really help, how that puts me in a different place, basically. Maybe not now, maybe not in the current job, but eventually the cumulative sum of the efforts to invest in yourself, in your skills and your knowledge is a lot. Even if it didn't show in skills, it will show in your thinking and in your wisdom and how you process information. And that in itself is a skill so many people lack. especially today with AI and the age basically where we live in, where data is very important. We lack that perspective. So, if there is one question or one thing I would leave you with, is to think about real world problems, real pain that are there, and there are so many. Don't think about it just in the technical terms. There are different needs. For example, until now, we have problems with, let's say, for example, AI regulation in Malaysia. I'm not asking you to go and write AI regulation law for Malaysia, but if you think about it, it's not going to be solved very fast or one regulation. And regulation is not going to be just law. We need more than that. Some level of it will have to be in the code level. And we need people who knows about code and who have exposure to law even in other countries in order to form our own AI regulation in Malaysia for different industries. Uh, Maybe Bank Negara to some level has their own, but what about manufacturing industry? What about other industries, medical industry, practitioners who do different sort of things? A lot of industries have niche needs, and well, you can't expect one person or one government or one government agency just to do all of that. It requires more knowledge, building expertise, and that starts. So the age of AI doesn't just have people who code and build AI. It needs people who regulate AI, people who think about the risks in AI, people who even try to figure out new ways to develop this AI in a sustainable and ethical manner. And maybe we can start looking at them in a local mindset, in our social scope, but these, or some of these at least, are also global challenges. And who knows, maybe some of you will have groundbreaking work that the world will learn something from. Yeah, that is all from me. Thank you for your attention, and feel free to reach out and connect in LinkedIn and other places. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Faris. That was a rather insightful talk. I'd say I'd like to actually go back to some of the points that you talked about just now that really resonated with me as a student, as a data science major myself. You talked about experimenting, and that is really refreshing and reassuring coming from a lead like yourself. And I say that because from what I've been noticing online, like you mentioned LinkedIn just now and Kaggle, the world seems to be obsessed about a product, the final product. And in doing so, the process that we've all come to love and enjoy that sometimes get lost. The message that you portrayed today, that gets lost. And when that happens, then everyone just goes to AI for everything, because I feel that we fall out of love, or some of us we don't even get that opportunity to fall in love with the process through hypothesizing, through experimenting, as you mentioned. So I think that was very, very important. Thank you for that, and very insightful once again the talk. If you don't mind, we do have quite a few questions from the audiences. So if you just like to go through some of them right now.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll start from above. It
Sure.
says, will ChatGPT and AI tools replace entry-level data scientists like us? Replace, not really, because here is the thing, right? You throw something to ChatGPT. Has ever ChatGPT said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know"? No, that thing always knows. So whoever is using this ChatGPT, let's say, most probably that guy who want to replace you is someone in management or leadership, does he know enough to actually recognize when ChatGPT is bullshitting? If the answer is no, then you got your answer. um, okay, I don't know how to press on that. Should I just press like or confirm? Would you like change your vote? Okay.
Yeah, sure. Actually, sorry, Amar, could you please share your screen as well so that the audience can see the questions as well, please? Thanks.
Yeah.
Just
There is another question. There are so
yep.
many tools and frameworks nowadays. How do you know what's actually worth learning? Oh, yeah. Well, uh, it's actually been the case all the time. Uh, I think it just now is like more AI tools. Before this, it was like more frameworks, more the way people will talk about these things. They will be like, oh, yeah, you must know these frameworks or data science algorithms. I think I started from the older questions. Is that the oldest one? I think the oldest one is below.
Oh, I think you started from the most popular ones, Mr. Forrest.
Ah, the most
Yep,
popular. Oh, okay.
I believe so. Yep, there they are. Yep, it's popular.
Okay.
Yep, yep, yep.
Okay. I will just continue answering that
Yep,
question
sure, sure,
first.
sure. Yep.
Uh, yeah. Well, this is very hard, but I will tell you what I did. So before this, maybe even until now, like this platform is very popular. It's called Medium,
Mm-hmm.
and there are so many like topics. People, even myself, I wrote and published a few things in there, and they used to have this, or I think they still use this clickbait titles. Uh, 10 libraries for data scientists to learn in 2024. You cannot be data scientist if you don't know these statistical methodologies, stuff like that, clickbaiting. And at certain point, I just got fed up. Like, oh my god, this is poisonous. This is toxic. I can't put up with this shit. So I basically just like plug off and don't look at it, and just focus on, if I have a problem or I have something that I'm working on, I'm trying to look for a solution for it, instead of being exposed. So what is happening right now is actually we are too exposed to so much of these news. Guys, like, I don't know, but like 20 years ago, I used to subscribe to certain magazines and I buy them actually. Tech magazine, there is no such thing as tech magazine. Like, there is one magazine that has information about tech, information about robots, information about communication, internet. All of that is one magazine. Today, front end, like 10 blogs, back end, 15 blogs, DevOps, 50 blogs, AI, 600 blogs. You are exposed to crazy number of information. It's overwhelming. So your best way is that just plug off from the matrix. I don't want to tell you who said that, but just try to reduce this noise, right? What happened when you remove this noise? You focus on what you have at hand. You have a certain project. Once you go today, the internet is better than way before. You focus on this project, you want to do XYZ, you look online and you have a lot of ideas, and through that you will actually learn meaningful things, and you will acquire almost like pure skills instead of like this noise that just comes all the time. And the most important thing is you will gain like peace of mind. because the more you work in this way, you do one project this way, two projects in this way, you will start having more confidence in yourself, in your ability to gain new skills, your ability to sift through the internet and find whatever is useful for you, and actually, spend 2 weeks and you are good at it. But you need to do that. You cannot allow the matrix to get in your head, because as long as you are exposed to this news, you will always be triggered. You will always feel like, oh, I'm not enough, I'm actually not sure. And it's like, bro, nobody is sure. It's just most of it clickbait, and God knows most of them today are AI or chat GPT written blogs. So like, why you have to feel so much bad about yourself when most of what's written is not actually high quality stuff? The high quality stuff, you search for it, you will find it. Okay, now I will just switch to this here. What is your opinion in students using AI to complete their assignments? It depends. Is the assignment boring? I will not blame you. Most probably, that's what I will do if I was a student. I mean, like, this is the honest answer, okay? But if it's like, something really important, I think you should. It's okay. You can look at AI. It might give you ideas, actually, but like, you really should be honest with yourself, because assignments are the most real, second most real thing you will have in your entire degree. All those classes you attend, bro, you will never remember. You only will remember like the dreadful feeling of waking up early. The only two things that stays with you, like what you did with your final year project. Some people, even that, they don't do it properly. And like your assignments, these are the real opportunities to build actual skills that matters. So, take them with some seriousness, and you will see this, confidence in yourself really build up. Okay, next question. As the lead data scientist, how do you evaluate a junior data scientist potential beyond technical skills besides communication? Oh no, bro, what is left? I mean, like, part of communication, I guess, is attitude. So for me, the most important thing, and actually for many good teams, uh, cultural fit, they would call it. So basically, well, we have a team. These people are good working with each other. So if we are adding a new person, we want to make sure that this person, can fit with these people, can feel good there, and most importantly, will have good attitude. Will have good attitude about so many things, about the work, about colleagues, about collaborating, about so many things. And that's very critical, especially in companies that really are, trying to find good people for their team. Uh, and the reason is, look, nobody knows it all. No one have all the skills. It's just a matter of fact, okay? Every team is, or the whole team is basically leaning on the strength of each other in order to deliver like an entire thing at the end. No one can just do the whole thing. Like, even if that guy can do the whole thing, there is not enough time for him to do the whole thing. He has to let other people to take and do pieces of the stuff. So if that's the mode that we must work on, because it's a team at the end, then you want these components, these team members, to fit with each other. So for me, one of the important things, especially that you say like, oh, yourself. Well, for me, one of the important thing is that I uh, I want people who can get comfortable with each other, comfortable to a lot of things, even the things they don't know. Uh, you don't want someone in the team say, "Hey, I don't know about this," and someone else in the team will be like, Even this one you don't know. What else do you know? Like, it will make people faking it. Like, oh no, yeah, I know everything. No, you want honesty. You want people to open up, to say, yes, I'm not really very strong at this. And they feel comfortable with it because they know the team can accept this and can help them, gain more knowledge in it or even acquire skills. It's an open culture. So that sort of attitude is very important, that humility. And the second thing is learnability. I usually until now, no matter how my boss will be like, why do you do interviews like this? And I'm like, it's my team, bro. If it's your team, do your interview in your way. But for me, one of the things is that technical things are not something I'm going to give you. I'm going to look at your resume. One of the projects that you have in your resume, that's going to be the topic. You build that project. I expect you to know more about it than me. So through talking about a project you are considered the expert on more than me, I can learn. I can learn about what did you do? How did you think about it? What challenges you faced? How did you solve them? That will tell me a lot about the candidate than if I just slap him some algorithm from online and say, hey, do this, prove you are worthy. I think it's waste of time. Most companies do that kind of way because they have 200 applicants and they just want 10 or 5, so they do that kind of, it's a filtration. It's not really an actual measure of how good a person is. I fail in interviews, in technical even assessments, mostly because I just don't spend much time on them. But it's totally fine. Okay. Um, my best failure was Facebook. Facebook, I prepared 2 months for them. It was a machine learning engineer position,
Wow.
and I failed successfully twice. And the thing is, like, the interview starts like, in a kind of like simple way with, yeah, algorithm thing. But the moment you solve that, it starts like getting 100x more difficult. So like they will tell you like, hey, we have this, and maybe you're doing something, searching algorithm or sorting. Then they saw that, oh, you are getting over this, you are solving it. They will be like, oh yeah, imagine you have 1 trillion character. How can you make that faster? And it's like, holy crap, I never done this. How do I know? So like I always laugh about this, that it escalated quickly. I didn't even know how to think about it. I was like, I don't know how many zeros in trillion, bro. But at the end, also companies are different. They have different cultures, and always, especially good teams, they want to maintain their culture. Sometimes rejection is not about you. It's not about how good are you. Sometimes it's just like they didn't see that you will fit their culture, and most probably that's good because maybe God saved you from going there. Is there any one skill you wish you would develop earlier in your career? I think patience. um, I think I was a lot anxious earlier in my career, and that wasn't helpful. I was anxious about everything, and it's uh, it's like I didn't know how to process it. Always just like, one day thinking everything is good, another day everything is on fire, and it's a whole roller coaster, not good for your mental health. And it's I think it's, there are so many solutions like, oh yeah, talk to someone, do this, do that. uh I don't know, I thought like, therapy is for hippies, not for me. But but something if I know today is that if you are just a bit patient and you just acknowledge that, hey, things take time, it's totally fine. Would have make things a lot different. Would make you less because you know something like this affects you. It affects the way you think, it affects the quality of ideas you will have, how you feel about the work. So it shows in your work when you are actually not in the right zone. And I guess that's something I wish I have learned uh, early on. I think one thing here is that sometime, I don't know, like for me, what is with my belief is that I believe that God uh, is responsible for provisioning. It's not your boss, it's not your job. These are reasons through it, but no one actually controls your destiny. Your destiny is already there. And if you take that, it allows you to be more honest about what actually work. If this job is good for you, or you think you are challenged more than necessary, or you think you want to work on different area than where they put you, uh, I think when you are in peace with this realization, you then just like, oh, whatever they give to me, I just want to prove to them, I want to prove everyone that I can, and all of that bullshit. At the end, you really don't have to prove anything to anyone. Just do your job and go home, bro. With honesty, but like, yeah, it's just like, bro, nobody cares. Even the people who you want to prove to them, like at the end, they will be like, whatever. So why you burn yourself? What's your approach to staying current with rapidly evolving ML AI technologies? How do you suggest we as juniors stay updated? I think today what is happening is there are so many industries. You see, before this, Malaysia 2017 and up to 2020, we were focused, like AI was just in, or data science was just like a little bit in the banking and the fintech, but like it was mostly in e-commerce because no regulation in e-commerce. So whoever does that. So that's why companies, the pioneers at this area, were like, you know, Boost, Fave. Do you guys use Boost and Fave? Or no, it's two yesterday for you, two 2015. Yeah.
Boost, yes, never heard of Faith, Mr. Faris.
Well, Fave used to be bigger than Grab and Boost and Touch and Go combined
Wow. Okay.
prior to COVID. COVID was tough, but like, so like these companies like Shopee, Lazada, like these companies were the pioneers in Malaysia. They were hiring on data science and stuff, mostly because very little regulation in them to none. So they were able to innovate and do these things. But today, no, today we have democratization. AI and data science is infiltrating across the board. Manufacturing, robotics, even Sime Darby, they have some robot to work in a oil plantation, you know, like basically everywhere. Manufacturing in Penang, like Vitrox and these companies working in semiconductors. So across the board, now them exist across the board is a good thing. Why? All of them needs data scientists and AI engineers. But that's not just a good thing. No, that's given. What is the good is that not all of them wants people with prompt engineering skills and that Gen AI bullshit. No, they want people who will build neural networks for detection. They want people who build something like recommendation engines, scoring and re-ranking algorithms, stuff that, let's say, they are falling out of fashion in LinkedIn. Okay, that's why LinkedIn is just like too much hype. This is one of it. Is like, no, you think all the industry will jump? You think we will jump? Bank Nagara will allow banks to use chat gbt inside their system? Like, no, they can use it for customer service, but like internal doing stuff, like, bro, people's money you're talking about there. You can't do stuff like that. So like we have opportunities across the board. And that means today, even if you focus at certain area in AI in general and data science, things are still relevant. Maybe the tools are evolving, the ways are like getting more structured, and that's let me say that's something you really get exposed to while working. You cannot do that when you are a student. Like, go and ask your final year student, has any one of them deployed one of their projects live? I will bet money that at least 90% of them will say no. Maybe they don't even know how to put things in a server. And most of the things that are evolving are actually on that side in production. So you can't really get ahead of them or updated with them while student, except like, the top 5%, 10% of students that they will get exposed to this. So one is that when you enter the workforce, you will get more exposure to these technologies, like things in MLOps, for example. Another thing is that what you can get on is maybe starting to expose yourself to these things. I don't think the university is doing anything about this or putting you into cloud or anything. This is your responsibility. Don't be, I don't know, Cheyenne, is this a formal or recorded event? Oh yeah, it's
Um,
recorded.
it is recorded.
Yeah,
Yes, we will
don't
be
don't
posting it on.
don't be
But
like
your honesty is,
yeah,
yeah.
don't be like completely new to the cloud. I was about to say other words that are less formal, but like don't be completely new. From now, you should have an idea. What can be in the cloud? What do we put? Why we use them this way? What is a compute instance versus, I don't know, storage instance or storage bucket? These three are like ABC of the cloud. You understanding them, you are already in a very good place. All the systems that we build today are basically just combinations of these things in a more complicated way with networking and stuff. But that's what it boils down to. So that's the thing that I think is very important. So one of the thing why I moved on from the first company where I was doing data analysis is that I was learning more, through online and stuff. I was learning more, and I was learning like this is like 2018, 2017, how how to make my model, my data science model or whatever model decision tree predicting like online. So I learned how to build API, how I can put this thing online and stuff like that. And then I realized that my job scope is like this. My skills are like this. This is boring. I want to work more here. So that make me look for a job that will make me work here, and that end up becoming Fave. And most of the stuff, like from the time I joined Fave, was like a lot of it putting machine learning models in production. Today we call that MLOps, and it has platforms and stuff. But like all the time I was MLOpsing stuff. It just nobody came up with the name yet. And this is what's happening, is basically, you work in the industry, you will do certain things, and after some time people will start say like, oh, okay, you know what, these few things that you do, let's give them a name. Maybe you'll find someone, his job is like MLOps engineer, he just like focus at this little stuff if the company is big. But these things will eventually come when you have like more in-depth exposure in the industry. What percentage of your time is spent on actual modeling versus data cleaning and meetings? Oh man, this is painful question. So, in my current job, Jesus. Okay, sometime I don't even touch code. So I have to go back home and code because so much meetings and stuff and people and yeah. Well, A lead position is like the first step on the managerial track. So like you imagine like all your career will be like that. Like you start like maybe associate, junior, whatever, senior, senior two or something, then you arrive lead is like that's where you are going managerial. And there is another track where you go technical, more deep expertise. So for me, I started going to this direction. And that's, I have personal reasons. That's a different question of why I go that direction. But basically, what it means is that I have to make sure my team is doing things right. My team is supported. It's a lot of like people management, less of the technical stuff, and making sure like I guide the team and give them you can say a direction, a technical direction for what the company needs to build. So that makes my meeting spend a lot on or my time spend a lot on meetings. But other than meetings, planning, because like the meetings is not where I take decisions actually. So I have to plan, I have to analyze. It's different muscle. It's weird. Okay, I will be maybe in a meetings or talking to different people, and I have to observe things. I'll have to observe what David is saying about the project, and then go and talk with Steve and see what Steve is talking about the project, and then think, is Steve and David in the same page? Are they going to build the same product, or everyone going to just build in his own direction? And then come in and like, oh, okay, I think, well, there is this thing, what I'm going to do about it now. uh, Maybe I will have another meeting of 1 hour. I will talk for 20 minutes just to put certain questions to make them start thinking. And then they will start, syncing and aligning with each other. So, like, a lot of it is like this. Sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it's boring. Most of the time, it doesn't feel like you are making a lot of progress because when you are coding, you just see the output and like, hey, progress. With people, it's like no progress after 1 year. When project is launched, then you're like, oh wow, you see, we did something. It took you 1 year to see it. When you write code, you just see it in 1 minute. So yeah, but on my previous jobs, actual modeling is not necessarily. So I'm trying to go deep in here, just in one area. So as a data scientist, there are two school of thoughts here. When you are working with models and you are trying to improve them, there are two approaches. So there is a data-based model improvement. A data-based is where you kind of like trying to look at the data itself and see, what is new in the data, what data points the model is performing well at, which ones the model is performing bad at. So that kind of scrutiny that you put on the data to understand why the model is performing a certain way. On the other side, it's an algorithmic based model improvement where you kind of like think about the model and say, okay, let's use CNN or LSTM or UNet or whatever, ResNet, something net. Basically, you are exploring different algorithms, you are doing hyperparameter tuning. Your efforts is a lot more algorithmic based to improve the model. Now, this is, I think, where, especially on my generation and the older people there, Kaggle was like big in our time, like so big. So people were exposed to like algorithmic based thinking. Even until now, like I see my manager is like, oh yeah, you can try CNN and RCNN and see what is the best. And I'm like, oh, this is so 2015, bro. But because they were exposed to that thinking. Most Of course, it's harder to look at the data because people, not everyone have the depth to look at that. So for example, in our case, what do we have? We have x-ray images. These x-ray images might have disease. Do I know what is the disease? No, bro. I in MMU, I did not study medical science. I see X-ray of teeth. It looks like the other X-ray for different person. Teeth here, teeth there. What disease in it? I don't know. So, like, you need to think in a different way, use different systems, metadata, and stuff to do some analysis and to get things basically deep. One of the simple things is that, well, I think it's simple, but yeah, I think it may be very simple. But if you guys are studying computer vision, I studied computer vision in MMU, very important subject. When I studied that subject, it wasn't fun. It wasn't very interesting. But guys, that subject is the real thing. The exposure you have in it, you understand pixel level changes that you can apply with these algorithms that you learn. It helps. For my team, I will give you one example. For my team, one time, the business owner came and said, like, guys, not all, some of them are actually example images. So you need to remove them. Crap, how do we remove them? We can't even tell. These are medical x-ray. It's not like you eyeball them and you see. So I told my friends that, well, let's extract the pixels of them and get some embeddings, and then we will have a copy of all, basically, because we have 13,000 images, so we cannot look through all of them. But this example image is like 40 or 50. So we asked the business owner, give us a copy of the example images, and we extract the pixels from them. We use an algorithm. I actually used LBP. LBP stands for local binary patterns. MMU did not teach me that, but it taught me that I can do this. Like when I worked on research, I did it. In MMU subject, I think we were exposed to another algorithm called HOG, histogram oriented gradient. Very deep stuff, I know. Maybe you're not prepared for it today, but I'm showing you how that subject helped. So I used that because I know HOG is kind of like used for orientation and stuff. So I was looking like, for me, I already know because it used in my research that LBP is for texture. So you will extract pixels, but they will look different because it's the texture. So if something is soft, it will look different than something that is rough. And through doing this and using these 50 examples, we extract them using this algorithm. We look at 13,000 images and we can remove whichever is similar. And look there, no like AI, ML included, just computer vision. So basically, it's a form of like data cleaning that you have there. And sometimes you need to have this niche exposure, maybe not the exact algorithm, but you understand that something is possible, that in computer vision there are certain algorithms that do, for example, blurring, and some algorithms they do de-blurring, like they reduce the blurring, for example. Some of them they help you detect edges. The simple knowledge of knowing something exists can inspire you to think like, oh, is there something for texture? Is there something for vegetation? Like you can come up with questions and you just Google them and you will have so much answers. So that's like one of the things that I really put into the team, is that I'm helping the team here because they're not as familiar with the data, the data approach, or improving the model by looking into the data a lot. And I see a lot of some of the things I studied or tried in the past come really handy. But at the end, yeah, I still have meetings and I cannot run away from them. It's just that I try to understand what is the thing that's going here. If the meeting is something I organize, most probably I have already decided the agenda and all of that, give it to everyone one day before at least, so like it is clearly there. And if you are in a management track, decisions should be taken before. So like if I have something that I want decision on, most probably I talked with my manager yesterday about it, or one week before. So when I go to the actual meeting, it's not to decide, it's to get everyone buying into the decision that we think is the best. uh, that's behind story of management thinking. But yeah, in terms of percentage, things change as you get on. So in the beginning, definitely modeling takes less, data cleaning, data preparation takes more of your time. In the middle of your career, like let's say 3 years or something, or 2 years, if you start building models and stuff, people will start asking you something different about the data or about the model. They will ask you, what is the, how do you know the model is performing well? So you will need to do decision science. You will need to kind of like prove business impact from the model. And that's a whole topic in its own. It's still part of the analysis and stuff. It's not really modeling, but it's part of the job. And the more you kind of like do an entire project, you will be asked and required, sorry, to do something on that area. But the more you switch on, basically, you get more meetings, the meetings that will require basically just planning and thinking. Where do you see the data science field heading in the next 3 to 5 years? I think it will be mature. It would be better in some companies, and most probably, right. You see, for quite some time we were complaining that a lot of the companies that say, oh, we have data science team, they don't actually do any data science, in the sense that they don't do advanced statistics or advanced statistical analysis. They don't do predictions and using ML at all. They are just purely data science. And I think as time goes by, this is reduced. More companies are actually doing some level of ML, some level of automation as well. And I think this will improve. But the requirements will get a bit higher in terms of like the skills you should have. They will expect from you when you join. So try to get like more than one internship. Try to have exposure more to the industry, connect with people and work with them in the industry, because the more you have, the more exposure you have, the better idea you have about what skills you need to build, what you need to invest your time on. I'm interested in doing AI ML side projects, hackathon. What approach would you think is going to be the best? Someone that's constantly Uh, yeah. So for me, I actually go to build things from time to time, and uh, before, like prior to this, it like I would usually have something, side project other than my job, and it will be in some area that I want to focus on. That's one thing. And at some time, I was like contributing to startup. So contributing with startup basically allows me to build something production worthy, but with less pressure. And it kind of like give you an idea the tools that's necessary, because the requirements usually will be very similar like any serious project, just that it will be a small scope. And it allows you to kind of like explore and have time to build. In terms of hackathon, I actually joined only two hackathons, and I think hackathons are good. They teach you how to learn, but one of them uh, that that wasn't like very comfortable for me is like the time was crashing. Usually, well, I don't know if they still do this, but like usually it's like 1 day or two, and like you have to build something, and that was banana, bro. Like by the time we present our project, I actually don't know what I'm saying. Like it, I literally don't know, and that's why I don't remember much from the hackathons I have. I was awake for 2 days, bro. I don't remember much of it. So if there are like hackathons that gives you a bit more time, like, bro, that will be nice. There is a there is a platform. I don't know if it's called DevPost, but basically a platform for online hackathons. I participated in it uh, one time with few friends. It was fun. Like you have longer time usually, and even though all of us were working, but we put up the project. Actually, we submitted. Didn't win, of course, but it was a nice experience in the sense that it's a challenge. You need to build something, but you kind of given something more sensible in terms of time frame. It's not like 2 days. You get some of them 3 weeks, some of them 1 month. It's good. It allows you to actually work on something. uh, yeah, I think these are actually some of the things I did. uh, there's I don't know actually if my I don't know if my GitHub is public, but there is uh, one application. It's called Cassia, like Bandar Cassia in Penang, yeah. But it's basically an AI for plant lovers, kind of like the database has a lot of information about plants. We scrapped every blog we see in front of us, and it kind of like tell you, how to take care of that plant, what are the conditions you need to use, and you can ask it even like, hey, I'm in Malaysia, and can I, for example, grow this plant, and it will tell you, like if you cannot, what conditions you need to maintain, stuff like that. So it was fun project. It was very nice. Uh, yeah, I think the bottom of this story is that you want to keep what you do at the intersection of fun and has some reality to it. Fun as you want to build it, but reality to it as something that you need to build because this hackathon requires it from you, like your FYP. Well, unless you wasted your time, but FYP can be fun if you really from the beginning you started working on it, or you proposed the project because you like it. So like, you know some level of seriousness, but still fun because driven by you, by your interest, what you care about. And yeah, for me, for my FYP, actually, I went through all the lectures to find someone who will be like, okay, do it. And the lecturer that who agreed to be my supervisor was not from my department. He was from the biomedical department, because all the AI department lectures were like, Faris, I don't care about this topic. So yeah, you need to get this, and I think for me, this is what helped. I'm married. I have my responsibility in my house. I have full-time job. So like, doing something at the side of all of that might be a lot, unless I try to keep it in this intersection. And of course, I keep myself away from the noise, except the one in LinkedIn. That's too much, and I cannot except like close the whole thing. LinkedIn, just open it when you're looking for a job. Uh, but yeah, you stay building stuff. You build actual skills, and knowledge and depth at certain topics, and they are, realistic things that you build, but they are still fun for you with boundaries that make sense. What is the biggest red flag you see in junior data scientist candidates during interviews? Two. So one of them has PhD. So maybe you would argue like, oh, that doesn't sound like junior. Yes, but if you did not work in data science before, like, yes, respect, you have PhD, it tells something about you, but you still never worked in an actual environment, and so what real. My son is knocking on the room window. I
That's
hope
all
you're
right.
not hearing that.
That's all right. That's all right.
uh, yeah, he will tell me time's up, but let me just finish this. So this person, everything was good. I give him a project to work on, not because I like the project mostly. It's similar like what I have, but one thing is my manager think that he should be able to solve something like that. You really should know where to look, how to search, and how to put up something. And it was a notebook based. This is not like you build an entire product, so it should be meaningful challenge, not too much to ask. But at the end, I added questions about business questions. Here is the thing: if you are a data scientist, code is not the most valuable thing you provide. Insights, understanding about the business, about value, that is valuable, because you're not going to give them just like, hey, the average sales is like this, these days are bad for sales, these days are good. Like, facts dry like that, bro, they don't feed anyone. So your level is like with more of, like, don't expect because you build a recommendation engine that the product team understands like how valuable it is and they will do everything, or the management is like fully sold out. Maybe the management is like, investors ask them to use AI, they don't know what is it. So there is some level of advocacy falls on your hand. And that's what I was asking this guy, is like, hey, maybe you will put actually, I don't exactly understand or remember the question, but I understand. I was asking about measuring the impact. Like, how would you measure the business impact of this, right? And the thing, the guy did the thing, like, okay, I wasn't expecting much, so that was not as important for me. But then for me it was like, this is the interesting part, is like, he has PhD, he did not work in the industry, so how would he answer these things? Because even for me, I did not learn them in one day, it took me time. There is a guy by the name of Eugene something. He worked in Lazada. He built the recommendation engine in Lazada and then worked on Amazon, built the recommendation engine on Amazon. I spent like 5 years or more of my career building recommendation engines in Fave and Car, some multiple different recommendation engines. So like, I always follow people in these big tech companies, follow their newsletters, their blogs, and that's like really high quality stuff that they put. So through that, I learned how actually people measure business impact of recommendation engine in Lazada, for example, or in Amazon. These are big e-commerce platforms. So, well, maybe this person with PhD will know how to Google and find that article, or find something, dig, like even get around the same area. But the flag was that after he presented his work, I asked him like, okay, is there anything more you want to add? Like, no. And sorry. Yeah, another guy calling. But so then he told me no. I told him okay. So I expect that he saw the questions and he's going to answer them. So I was like, okay, maybe he didn't see the answer. I told him, okay, now, so after we build a recommendation engine, so what do you think we should do? And that was the shock for me, because I would expect him to say, oh, we will track it after we put it live, right? We will track it. How does it perform? Do people like something at that direction, you know? It's not, I don't think it was like unreasonable to ask. But the shocking answer was, no, that's everything about building recommendation engines. So this guy basically doesn't acknowledge that maybe even there is a possibility of something he didn't know. And that's a red flag. When someone doesn't even second think himself, like, no, like, I know it all, that's everything, that's a deal breaker. And this is the thing, is that these things are not necessarily a trick questions. It just shows, you know, from the conversation you see how the person maybe respond to certain uh, uh, question, and that makes you like, oh wait. So like the problem is that, like, if we bring someone like this into the team, would he think that, you know, he will learn more, he will be exposed more, or he would be like, no, I already know this, this is everything? That's the problem it will have. The other thing that I see as not a red flag, but perhaps a behavioral thing, some data scientists, they are, let's say they live in a bubble. Okay, you come as a junior data scientist, you work, you take certain task, you just bury yourself in it and working and working and working. And the manager asks you, or your team lead, hey, everything is good, how is that, what is the progress? And you are just like, oh yeah, everything is good. And for you, in your head, you just have to do it, and you end up building something entirely different, taking maybe like you built the thing, but like you actually overcomplicated the matter. And that's like, I don't think like it's necessarily a red flag, it's more of like, you know, certain things, you know, upbringing, how we came up, how we grow up and stuff, maybe those things affect us to be in this way. So I try to recognize these. And what should be the case is that as junior data scientist, like, you know, offer your lead your thought, especially if you think that you are in the right company, in the right team. This place is a, you know, positive environment, it's not toxic. Then offer him your thought, tell him, hey, come after a day or three, tell him, hey, look, I thought about this, I think I will do one, two, three. What do you think about that? Either he will, like, you know, readjust your direction, or will tell you that's good, you are in the right direction. Like, don't go just like, you know, about it in your own, because your win is your win, but your lose is for the entire team. The entire team lose because they lost time. You went developing something that's not needed. You would feel bad. They would feel bad that you felt bad. It's a whole chaos just because of this. So that's, I think, a tendency that juniors tend to have, and it's not good. Like, try, maybe you're not familiar with this, but like, try at least. Maybe you can't share with the whole team, it's a big thing for you, you're not adjusting to it, but at least your lead, build a strong relationship with him based on trust, and offer him your thought. You owe it to yourself to do the right thing. And how can you know that if you did not like you did not evaluate it by someone else. In this era, the information are too much and redundant. How can we handle this situation? Unplug from the matrix, bro. Reduce that. It's this is the only way. Everywhere you will see is like, oh yeah, new AI, now DeepSeek, and now actually few days, this last few days, Quinn 2.0 or something. Like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? A few days last week or something, there is another thing in the news. They are saying, oh, OpenAI asked this AI to shut itself, and it didn't follow the instructions. Okay, so what I worry about it, like, bro, everyone has so much in their plate. You don't actually need all of that noise. So try to filter out this noise. Uh, Even newsletters start becoming noise. So start, like, it takes time even for you to recognize what is high quality stuff. And this guy, uh, what is his name? Yeah, Eugene, this guy from Amazon, now Lazada previously, like, it took me actually time to see that most of the stuff he share are relevant to me. But in general, it's the same thing for me. It's an iteration. In the beginning, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Every Substack out there, newsletter in AI, data science, this, that. After some time, you have to go back and check which ones actually you benefited from, which one actually made you learn something, which one didn't. Now, round two, unsubscribe, unsubscribe, unsubscribe. And I will tell you, a lot of the things that I learned and used in the last 7, 8 years, I learned them from like one or two or three newsletters. All the rest were out of the window. One of them is called Python Weekly, right? Python Weekly is very important. Uh, that's where I learned about something called Fast API. Do you know Fast API? If you don't know, you should know today. In 2019, 2018, there was no Fast API. But the way I learned about it is when I built my first recommendation system, it's in a notebook. It's unusable. Somebody has to make it usable. So how to make it usable? You make it basically live through building an API. So I built an API using something called Flask. And I was so happy, like, this is the thing. And okay, I'm a data scientist building an API. I'm not a backend guy who knows everything that is there. Anyway, I was happy. They said, okay, this is the first data science model, or that time they don't call it machine learning model. Okay, they are still 2012. They call it, this is the first data science model for Fave. We will put it live. So they took my thing and they put it live for beta users, which is about 1,000 users or 3,000 users. And one day that guy, I call it Hazik guy, he's like, hey, Faris, come. Fave was having 2 floors. So I went up, like, good news, I will go finally live to entire Fave users. He's like, no, your thing is too slow. What do you mean too slow? It takes 6 seconds. Shit, I don't know what to do. Nobody has prepared me for this. And he's like, anyway, Faris, we cannot put it live. You have to do something about the speed. And I'm like, what speed you want? He's like, front page, the home page, 200 millisecond. It's like, holy crap, that's 1/5 of the second. I'm like, 12 times that speed. Like, how to come down? And well, I went asking some of the people. Some of the people, I think maybe you attend even talks for. One of them is Ashrik. They explained to me, but I can't get it. They are backend engineers. They are familiar with these problems. I'm a data scientist who just learned how to build API. But one day I opened my Python Weekly, and it says Fast API, new Python library. This is like out of the box, like async IO supporting. And I'm like, okay, I opened that and tried it. And that in 2019 was the first time I used it. It was 7 months old, the library. And it changed everything for me. I never used anything other than Fast API from that day in 2019 until today. And I only learned it randomly from one newsletter. Another thing about this newsletter, the same newsletter, okay, Python Weekly. I'm not being paid to tell you this, but there is a library called Streamlit. Even before Streamlit, there was like Plotly and Dash. And do you know what is the struggle of data scientists? It's the same traditional things. Your work and your stuff is in, let's say, Python notebook. You cannot show that to the CEO. He doesn't know what the frick is that. Like, he never seen it. He doesn't code. And you bringing him like your laptop. Hey, look, this code. My model is working. Like, what is he looking at? A NumPy? like, like, so you want to do something different. And at that time, it was a headache. Oh, we need to write HTML or maybe like, a lot of things to do. When Plotly Dash came, it was the first step. Because now I can write a front end simple in Python and I can use the model. And I learned it from the newsletter. And later on, I got Streamlit. Streamlit was way better, way cleaner. That thing is built on top of React, bro. The thing is just like, everyone looks at it, even my manager, my data science manager, and he's like, holy crap, what is this? Do you do front end? And I'm like, there's no front end, bro. Just Python. And it really changed. Like when I went to Carsum, they didn't know anything about this. My manager, my CDO didn't know anything. I know. And I basically championed this whole thing because I sold it to him this way. Nobody should present to you code. Everyone knows Python in the team, in the data science team, then they can use Streamlit. They can read the documentation and build that. Add a button, put your logic inside, and put a nice front end in 5-10 minutes. And it transformed everything. That thing got a name that I still use until today. We call the rapid prototyping, as this is a prototype of your model or app, and we used through that. And all of it was like almost from this newsletter. I still follow this newsletter until today. And just like looking at how many libraries I learned from, of course, there are so many libraries that comes up. Not every single thing I end up using, definitely. It's not going to be even the case for you. But the few of them that benefit me, they have changed me like 100%. Like I was 10x in the team because these few things that I knew, and I can help everyone through it. And this is an example for you that it's not about deep expertise on something. Like, no, some people might be very deep at some stuff. Some people will know Kubernetes. Some people can just know different set of skills that contribute to the overall output of the team. Okay, last question. Finally, I'm taking longer than usual. My time is up. Nowadays, AI data consultant role is becoming popular. What skill set do you think that data consultants should have? More towards technical, managerial skills. Oh, thank you, Cheyenne, for sharing this. Python Weekly, the best thing a data scientist needs. Everyone else in LinkedIn, bye-bye, bro. This is what I mean. Most of them maybe subscribe to it, and they take one small thing from here, ask ChatGPT to write a post about it, and then publish it for you. This is the source, bro. So let's get back to data consultant. Actually, I don't know. My involvement with data consultants started in 2021. There was something called COVID. I'm sure you are familiar with it. So when it happens, basically it affected a lot of businesses, and our business in Fave was like crazy hit by it. And well, a lot of companies needed people who know data science and stuff. So my data in consultation was mostly is advising companies on two things. So at one level is that there are these companies who do not have anything at all, and many of them who want to start do not have anything at all. They have data in their database, but to go into doing proper data science or data analysis, that requires few steps. One is building data infrastructure, data warehousing and stuff. And for me, being a data, even though that's like the role of data engineer, but well, I was a data scientist who does data engineering, ML engineering, all that thing. So like I was exposed to these things in a great depth. So that's where I tried basically to focus on is how to build data infrastructure for these companies, data warehousing that can support their analytics and their needs. Maybe at the beginning, giving them a study and evaluation of the opportunities the company can have based on their volume of data, based on their business. What are the use cases there? Use cases for modeling or for deep insights, because not everything at the end is ML. Some stuff can be statistics, right? Some stuff is just like pure analysis. So after coming up with this like feasibility study or opportunity study of them, you can have an idea about what infrastructure they will need to support doing that. So this is the kind of skill set I have, is that exposure into like what data analysis is happening, what they call it, uh, infrastructure that is there, cloud resources, all of that, and then putting all of that together. I think the managerial skills are not there. They're not really required. Usually, for big consultation companies, what they do is they will have like one senior person who have like rounded skills, and this person will be like responsible in establishing the roadmap, etc. And then the rest of the team will kind of like work toward achieving this. And some people maybe will be exposed in or working on one area. Some people might be like, with as time goes by, they will work on other areas. They will work on data science and data engineering, and they will basically progress in that way. And with more time, maybe like you would reach this level where you will just be in a managerial track, and you just have to handle the team and stakeholders, and that's it. Because it depends actually on these consultation companies. Sometimes they have technical lead and they have another manager. So the manager here doesn't have to do so much of the tech. The tech lead who has to be responsible and all of the tech. But the skills will vary. I think it depends also on what you like. So for me, early on, I was fascinated by taking things that I have built into production. So for me, that was like actual joy. Like recommendation I built, and they put it for 3,000 users. Of course, it failed first time, but like it was joy in itself, because for me, it's like, I make it when this thing goes live into 500,000 users. Like that is like badge of honor. Of course, like as things goes by, like things change, but something you actually built goes to that level, big aha moment. For some people, they are like, no, I'm okay with building a proof of concept and move on to a new project. I don't want to stick to one project for very long, because usually actually if you build some project, like it will take time for you to move to something else. uh, it will always be looked at like, oh, this project, it's the baby for this guy, right? You are the expert in it. And and for you to move on and build on something else might take time. Some people don't like that. They just want to move, switch on to the next thing. So if you know which thing is important for you, then you have an answer. If not, like, it's all right, like maybe you spend some time working and kind of like discover that innate drive for you, which one actually is more important. For me, I always wanted to build things. Building things is where what I enjoy, because I like to feel that I can, figure out the interworking, or the inner working of things. When I was a kid, I opened the toys all the time. I'm that kind of guy. One time I opened the vacuum. I got so much beating from my mom. But so, like, doing this kind of stuff is like my thing. And that's why I was fascinated with building, because like I understand what things work inside, how things end up. But as I work more, the years goes by, I realize that at some companies, when you are at least in a lead position, you have more influence. And I wanted that influence. So it became like, I want to still build, but I want to have some influence. And that's why I end up like, leaning a little bit to the management track. But still did not work 15 years. It's just like 8 years. I'm still learning about myself and about the field. And yeah, that was the last question. Back to you, Sharon.
Thank you so much, Mr. Forrest. It's been a while since we have a speaker who answered our questions so passionately. I really appreciate that. You gave us a lot of insight, not just into the industry, but as to what we should and shouldn't do as juniors. And also because of what you said, I'll be taking a subject I didn't really plan on taking. I'll be taking computer vision probably soon in my upcoming term. So yeah, that's great. I hope it goes well. Maybe I'll email you about it after I take it and tell you what
Cool.
I got out of it.
If you hate it, it's not my problem. Yeah.
No, no, I'll just take it for what it is now. But that was very, very interesting. Once again, thank you for coming and for your time. You've gone overtime with us already, and yep, that would basically conclude our session. One thing we like to do, Mr. Faris, to commemorate these sessions since they are online, is we like to take like a snapshot of the meeting. So we would kindly like to ask our participants here to open your cameras. Don't be shy. We'll just take a picture, two pictures. One will be freestyle, one will be with our GDG logo, and yeah, then we can dismiss. All right. All right, guys, open your cameras. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. All right, Amar, you wanna count us down?
Let's take another one. Okay.
All right. Okay. All right.
3, 2, 1.
All right. One
Let's
with
do
the logo.
the GDG sign.
Yep.
Okay. 2, 1. Okay, great. I got it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Omar. Thank you everyone for coming. Do take a bit of your time. We would love it if you guys could just fill out the feedback form for the session. This helps us bring in more events alike for you. And thank you once again, Mr. Faris, for coming. We really, really valued your insight, how passionate you were for the Q&A session, and also the general knowledge you shared. It was very, very impactful. It will be to me. It will be to. I will certainly be applying it as a year two student who's almost about to go into his FYP. So yeah, thank you so much. We'd love to have you around for future events, and yeah, bye for now. Good night.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.